What's going on, you guys? We are now in season premiere week, okay, or I should say season premiere month, all right, and we are back again with season 3 of Empire. Now, everybody, we had a little difficulty last season. We was like iffy on it because it just didn't really give us completely the same feeling that it gave us first season, but hopefully this season 3 will give us or get back on track and be a little bit more realistic or whatever. But they already started off on some bullshit. So we've been trying to come. The main thing is what happened to Rhonda and Anika. Which one fell over after they got into that fight, okay? Because y'all know last season Rhonda figured it out that it was Anika that pushed her down them steps, okay? So Andre comes outside. No! Alright, and we like, oh my god, who fell? Who fell? Bitch. The show starts off with them downstairs outside, Hakeem coming out the door running, getting to his car, the Just Married car, and being all in his feelings because he didn't get married. Because you remember Lolita, she left him at the altar, okay? And Lucius coming out there trying to stop him and talking to Jamal like, don't you see all these people out here? Damn, anybody could be feds or undercover or whatever, so he worried about that. And so after that ended up happening, all of a sudden, before they can even go inside the house, before they can go inside the house, not the house but the building, boom. Who comes crashing down? A body of a white girl, and it just so happened to be Rhonda. Like, who all thought it was gonna be Rhonda in the first place? I don't know how I feel about it because, even though Rhonda was out here doing some stuff with Andre, she was doing it for the sake of her marriage and trying to uplift and put her husband in a different position. And also, Andre was at his best when he was with Rhonda. Um, so to see this happen, it was just like, oh my God. But then Anika, it makes sense though a little bit to keep Anika because she had the baby and her storyline can go a little bit further, which they did. So Andre comes out there, she see them, and of course he's over it. He is over it to the max. He's in his feelings. He was about to choke her up. Okay. And right when she was choking him up, well, right when he was choking her up, her water breaks. He was like, oh my God, you killed my wife. You killed my wife. And so basically, the water breaks, and then he picks her up instead of just continuing being evil. Because, bitch, let me tell you something. Andre is good. I guess he must have snapped out of it for a second and say, well, she is carrying my nephew that they thought was nephew at the time because, because the baby don't deserve to do whatever he probably was gonna do. Because if it was me, I probably would just went on ahead and picked her up and threw her over the edge too. I would have did that. I would have threw her over that banister too. You want to do this, you can go right along with her, bitch. Eye for a motherfucking eye, okay? But then again, you have to think about the baby. So they get her to the hospital. Andre is just sitting there all out his mind. I'm sitting here like, can somebody give him some help? I know he just snoring or whatever, but the whole way that they did the little Rhonda thing, they went this whole episode without talking anything about Rhonda. Nobody went. They didn't show them preparing the funeral. They didn't show them calling the parents or anything. They didn't show nothing. They barely show Andre grieving. Okay, we had two scenes when he was actually sitting in the hospital, when they was waiting to see what was going on with Anika, and then at the end. But before we get there, let's continue this part. So he's sitting at the hospital, and he's in his feelings, he's all emotional, he's shocked, all this stuff. Cookie trying to talk to him, he don't want to talk to nobody, he's not saying anything. Then all of a sudden, here come the feds, or the cops come in there. They looking all nervous, of course, especially Lucius, because who is back in town? Tyreek is back in town. Tyreek is Lucius' half brother, who is also a cop or a fed or whatever you want to call him. He works in the police department. I'm not fuck. That's because my tooth is back. That's why. Anyway, moving on from that, they go up in there. Lucius go up in there to the delivery room and tell Anika, go ahead and push. They was like, all right, the baby's about to come. Everything's going okay, even though the baby is 6 weeks early. And he bent down and says in her ear, you better tell these cops that you tried to stop Rhonda from jumping off the edge, and she went on ahead and she jumped anyway. Okay, that's what the fuck you better tell her. I said, bitch, Lucius, you still ain't shit. And then when they do all of that, He was in his feelings, okay? He was in his feelings because when the baby came, mind you, Rhonda kept on saying that the baby is gonna be a boy. It's gonna be an heir to the throne. This heir to the throne gonna be this little boy. He's gonna be the king. He gonna be this. He gonna be that. That's what she wanted. Girl, why was it a girl? So of course Lucius was in his feelings over that. I'm sitting here like, what? And then it comes when it gets through with that, we get this random scene where we have Baby, aka Birdman, with French Montana coming up trying to talk to Lucius. Lucius trying to convince them to, I guess, partner with him or be with him and do this extreme stuff. And they like, your stuff is your stocks and everything is down after all the bullshit that happened, okay? So why should we come with you and all this stuff? And he and Birdman talking about some, I'm always the king and all this. I just didn't understand that part. Like, what does that play into this? It was just, to me, that felt like a filler scene, a filler, worthless cameo appearance by some rappers that we didn't care for. Like, what was the point? I didn't get it. Cookie going through her issues at first. When she get back, well, before they called her to the hospital, she was at home and pissed off that Lucius did marry Anika, okay, so that Anika couldn't testify against him. And then, she left out this bullshit. And so she just going through her house and getting all the stuff that reminds her of Lucius, anything that with Lucius' name or face on it, and throwing it away, soaking her tears away in some wine, okay? So later, they get back to, but anyway, my bad. They was at the office and they trying to come together. We got Cookie, Lucius, Jamal, and Hakeem. Lucius is like, where the hell is Andre? I'm sitting here like, give him some time to grieve. That's what Cookie just bust out and said. You need to give him some time to grieve. He just lost his wife. Have y'all heard from him? He was like, yeah, he's staying at my place. This is what Jamal's saying. And he was like, well, when you talk to him, could you tell him that I love him and I'm sorry for what happened and I want to talk to him and all this stuff. And you know, Cookie trying to tell him, say, I'm sorry that we so business oriented. We have to hurry up and get back to business. And then here come Lucius. It's not about the business. It's about our legacy. I'm trying to do this legacy and stuff like that. This is about family and all this shit. When we launch this stuff, it has to make a statement. And Jamal, I want you to perform at this extreme stuff because you are the real deal. You the up next and all this stuff. You are the hero of the family right now. Girl, Hakeem got in his feelings and said, what about me? How about you put me on to get some real music going up in here? Child, Lucius just don't give a shit about Hakeem. They are still going through their tit for tat that they was doing last season because he basically said, no, okay, and who the fuck are you? You are basically worthless at this point. What you need to do is to prove yourself and try to be a fucking dad because, Cookie had to tell them, y'all need to stop the bullshit, all right? Basically, Lucius, the reason why we up in all this bullshit is because of your ass. And let me tell you something, Hakeem, you ain't finna be no deadbeat dad. And then here comes Lucius. We find out that Lucius put his name on the birth certificate. And basically, he is holding his baby, Hakeem's baby girl, Bella, hostage against him, saying basically you're not gonna be a dad to him until you prove yourself and all this stuff. I said, what in the hell is going on? Y'all are using the child, the baby, the newborn as a fucking pawn in this little psychotic game that y'all are playing. Okay, so Hakeem is all up in his feelings, like you ain't got no broom, you ain't got this and this, trying to come at Cookie and Lucius, but Cookie had to shut that shit down, and he leaves out and go to the studio. He goes to the studio doing some song, and I'm like, whatever. Next thing you know, here come Exhibit. Exhibit is playing Shine, the guy who came in and broke up crashed the wedding last week. One of the four horsemen that Lucius was talking about. So he come in, he was like, "No, this shit got you sounding soft and weak and stuff like that." Because first Hakeem's friend was trying to sugarcoat and say, "Yeah, your shit sound good. It sound good." Then Gabby was like, aka Becky, it sounds good, but it also sounds a little, and then here come Shine, weak. Okay, that's what it sounds. It's weak. And it was like, Hakeem, you didn't live up to your part. You said that you was gonna give Vanessa on, but you didn't do that stuff. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. That ain't got shit to do with me. The only reason why you know you not welcome here is because you crashed my wedding and all this stuff. He said you bitching about a wedding that never happened. It's two type of girls, riders and runners, and we know which one you had, okay? And so he busting up the spot, trying to tell the producers to move and do all this stuff. The producer tried to do something and he just yoked his ass up. I said, don't do it. Here come Lucius to save the day, trying to get Shine out of there. And basically, they come up with this deal to give Vanessa his girl, because I guess Vanessa, his artist, or whoever she is to him, niece or whatever, was supposed to, get a deal or something with Lucius. They didn't do it. Basically, Lucius kind of played him. And so he said, this is what happens. He took the producer, mind you, the big buff dude that was working with him in a red shirt, okay, with the tight red shirt on and like Kango hat or whatever. That's old boy from the crazy brother from Trapped in the Closet. R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. Go look at the whole series. That is him, okay? I know that muscles and all that face anywhere, okay? And so basically they pull the producer over there and they take that keyboard and he breaks his fingers with it. Basically, bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh my God, this is so violent so soon. We already witnessed a death, so okay, what are we talking about? So basically, they come to the conclusion that they're gonna let Vanessa sing back up and also a bridge. And then they was like, this is what happened when Exhibit comes back next. When he was trying to get back into the building, and him and Lucius was talking, and he was like, you ain't have to do all that, but I thought you said you was gonna do this. And they come to the conclusion, just trying to appease him and to cut down on the drama. He said she's gonna sing back up on the song and she's gonna also sing a hook. And he was like, fine. And then when he let him go that quick, Lucius go and talk to his talk to his guy and was like, this is how you gotta give a sucker deal to a sucker, make them feel like they doing something. I was like, all right. So he think he playing him, but in a sense he's about to get played himself. So Cookie is chilling with Carol and Candace. And I'm sitting here like, since when the fuck are all three of y'all cool? Because for the last 2 seasons, you bitches couldn't get together. Y'all couldn't get y'all shit right. Y'all was cussing each other out. Now y'all kikiing it up, drinking wine and stuff. And Carol and Candace keep on talking about, remember when Tyreek did this? And Tyreek thought that girl hair was a parrot and wondering why I wouldn't talk to him because it was hair. Tyreek is this and Tyreek is that. Cookie is sitting there like, why y'all keep on bringing up Tyreek? Connect the dots for me. And then it was like, look, girl, he just want Lucius, okay? That's all that he want, okay? He was like, he got to you. He got to you. You know what y'all can do? Come here, do this for me. Take your asses out the door, okay? So they opening up the door. Why is he already right there? Basically, he wants Lucius so bad, and he's not gonna stop until he gets him, okay? At this moment in time, they go to the hospital to see about Anika. Anika and the baby. Anika is already discharged. Now, Tyreek's whole thing is that he's trying to prove that this marriage between Lucius, what's his name? Is his name Lucius? Lucius Lyon. Okay. Girl, it just sounds so funny. Between Lucius and Anika is fake, okay, and it's committing fraud, and that's why he's trying to butt up Cookie and everything. And so when Cookie and Lucius was talking, he was basically like, we gotta hurry up and get to her before she goes to her own apartment, Anika, so that, because he knows Tyreek is looking for him, knows that he's gonna be just studying them and stalking them and all this stuff. So they trying to get Anika before she go to her apartment so that they can play this shit off like they already been living together, okay? And so his people do wind up getting her and taking her to his house before, she can get to her apartment. She's like, I don't have nothing and all this stuff. I was like, girl, it's going to be provided for you. They already got the nursery made. Baby. When she came in there, the only one that was receptive to her was the maid, okay? She was like, hey, girl, how you doing? It's nice to see you back in the house. Oh, my God, look at the baby. Okay, let me take her to the nursery. I'm going to tell you where it's at. Girl, they come up into the kitchen. Mama Kizzy, a.k.a. Lucy's mama, She was not here for Anika was like, you the devil, bitch, and you ain't gonna do you ain't eat none of my food. Don't even try to poison me, bitch. If you step and cross me, I will fuck you up. She had that motherfucking knife, and I said, oh no, get that baby out of that house because the baby is just not safe. Okay, she probably would touch that baby, hurt that baby to hurt your ass because mama be off her meds just like Andre do, and it's just a mess. So later, Hakeem is in the studio with Shine's character, and he's actually producing and doing the song, and they do what they had to do, and he was trying to hit on Vanessa. Mind you, the girl who's playing Vanessa is one of the three. Remember the three sisters off of Daddy's Little Girl with Idris Elba and Tasha Smith, the daughters, the oldest daughter, I think it is. That's who she is. And all three of them can sing in real life. And I was like, all right, get your shine. Here come Hakeem trying to hit on her, of course. And she was like, I heard about you, bitch, okay? So you're not finna run one over me. You like them fast, hiding the pants ass thoughts, and this ain't what it is right here, okay? Look here, Shine, you ain't gotta take up for me, because I can do myself, okay? That's what it is. I can take care of myself. And she walked away. He get in the booth doing whatever the fuck he thought he was doing. The song was cute. It was better, but it didn't sound no different from what the shit we already done heard. So Cookie was over there at, Lucius' house, and they talking about stuff. And basically Lucius, I don't know what is going on with his hair this season. At the beginning, he had it slicked down like he was using white gel, okay, that clear gel instead of the brown. And then after that, he had it like a mullet or something in the back. I said, cut that or trim that. That don't look right. And then towards the end, like at the very last end, the end scenes with him, I said it was like in a poof or whatever, like a little conch style. It was giving me sort of like season one Lucius when he had the permanent end. The permanent. That's what they call it. If y'all didn't know, that's what it's short for. Okay, permanent. The permanent is hell. That's what it looked like. I'm saying, what is going on? You are going backwards. What's happening? I thought we were supposed to be going forward, but whatever. Cut that shit. But basically trying to apologize and get Cookie back in his corner, and Cookie just telling him, you fucked this up, okay? And things will never be the same. You chose that bitch over me and all this stuff, and it is what it is. So not Hakeem, but Jamal, he's performing, he's rehearsing, and Cookie comes in there trying to talk to him. And of course, we see that I don't know if they're gonna develop the story on Hakeem being addicted to pain pills, because we see, Cookie talking to him how bad is the pain from 0 to 10, and he said it's like a 5 or 6, and it'd be cool soon when he take the medicine, and he's just popping these pills. And they doing this song about Black Lives Matter. He's naming all the people that especially the ones that recently got killed. Elton Sterling, Philando Castro. You have Sandra Bland up in there. Trayvon and everyone else, Mike Brown. He was just, and the song was real cute and cool and everything. And she was like, this is nice, but this is not the song that your father chose for you to put in. He was like, whatever, I don't care. He owes me this. You got Frida sitting in jail and nobody's giving a damn about her because they think that she did this to me on purpose when it's really because of him, because of Dad that did this shit. So I'm going to do whatever the fuck it is I want to do. And Cookie was like, I mean, okay, I guess. So they go back to Rhonda and they go back to the house. Everybody is over at Lucius' house, all right? Rhonda and Hakeem with the baby. Rhonda trying to give him the baby. Okay, hold the head like this, He was like, oh my God, oh my God. And here come Lucius. They having a moment, all right? Here come Lucius like, you got to hold it like this. Come to daddy, come to daddy. That's daddy's little girl. I said, if you ain't shit, you are sitting here. First of all, you deliberately signed your name to that girl's birth certificate to say that you are the father when you are really the grandfather. And then you're gonna come in front of your son, take the baby from him, his baby, and say that come to daddy. Your daddy's little girl. Girl, he is the most fucked person ever in this world, okay? And then they having this dinner. Tyreek is there. He like, how he get all y'all here together, okay? And next thing you know, Tyreek just started going down the line, reading everybody. Anika, I know this shit is fake as fuck because you just, trying to help him out, so you won't have to testify. She was like, this is very real, okay? She get up there and she tried to kiss Lucius, and it just looked so painful. And he grabbed her wrist and everything. I said, that is just wrong. She is trying to help your ass out, and you gonna do her like this? Okay, fine. Then he was like to my Cookie, I mean, you the main one missing out on all of this stuff that suffers from this shit because you gotta play. This supposed to all be yours. 17 years you did for him, and you still can't get your spot that you deserve, but you gotta give it up to this mulatto bitch. I said, bitch. Well, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. Okay. He was like, Hakeem, look at your ass. Okay. He done kicked you over, took over your wedding, took your bitch and all this stuff, took your baby, got the baby calling him daddy, and you still here? And Jamal was like, okay, so it's me next. So let me tell you what he did to me. When I was 6 years old, he put my ass in the trash, okay? He couldn't get over the fact that I'm gay and all this shit. He was having this little petty beef with me over the Asa, but let me tell you something. That's my daddy, okay? And if he can't tear down the family, who else can? And your bitch ass badge ain't gonna do it. I said, you know what, Jamal? Shut your mouth up. Because that made no sense to me. I understand family first, and, your family can do stuff that strangers can't do. But, bitch, no. No, I'm not here for that bullshit. Y'all every time y'all get an opportunity to take Lucius down, they don't do it. Because I guess they figured if he goes down, they going to go down too because they ain't going to have shit. All right, the only person that ain't there, I feel like, no. Tyreek said something about fucking Rhonda or Andre, and Andre fucking lost it. Okay? He lost it. And they had to hold his ass back. And I said, I knew that shit was coming. I knew that shit was coming. Because wasn't nobody saying nothing about him. Wasn't nobody saying nothing about Rhonda. And they just keep breezing over the fact that all this stuff is happening. All right? And they get ready to do the extreme or Ustream or whatever extreme event or whatever for the company. And you know Lucius get out there. He introduces Jamal, my son and my progeny. I said, ooh, your progeny, since when? Now you want to claim that? Okay, we can go and carry on with this shit. So next thing you know, Jamal gets out there. He's about to do the song that wasn't on the playlist that Lucius didn't approve because Lucius back there like, what the hell is this? And he started having an anxiety attack and he just started flashbacking. When the lights started hitting him, started flashbacking everything that happened when he got shot and all that stuff. And they was like, keep the music running, keep the music running. Hakeem go out there, take him off the stage, and Cookie trying to tell him to get his shit together and all this shit backstage. And next thing you know, Lil Vanessa steps up and said, I'm not finna be background singer no more. I said, you know what? Take the song because this was rightfully your spot and this was rightfully your song because she fucking killed it, okay? She sounded so much better than Jamal on this song. And of course, Lucius gonna get in his feelings because he thinking like, now Vanessa is the face of Empire because of what you just did, Jamal. And Jamal was just like, bitch, we in all of this bullshit because of your ass. And you got the nerve to be pissed off at me? Listen, get the fuck out of here. And here go Lucius. I did this for y'all and all this shit and yada yada yada. Same old Lucius shit. And when all that shit happened at the end of the episode, you got Lucius playing with the baby girl, okay, and here comes what's her name? Cookie trying to see what's up, and she having a flashback because she wanted to say goodnight to little Bella. She having a flashback because he's saying, I still like you the same way when I first saw you and all this stuff and all this shit when they first met. So she has a flashback to when they was younger and he was rapping and singing on the streets and all this stuff. And, Candace was still forever the control freak and, Carol was still carefree. And so after that, Andre is having a hallucination out of this world. Andre is sitting there on Jamal's couch saying, Andre did bad. Andre should have listened. Andre should have listened. Andre should have listened. And then all of a sudden, Rhonda appears, and I said, What? In Tarnation, Andre is talking to himself in third person. Okay, Rhonda was like, yeah, you should listen. Okay, you let that bitch throw your wife and kill your wife. That's what you did. And all this stuff. You couldn't do shit without me. You can't regulate your medicine without me. You don't know what doses to do. All this stuff. And she was reading him from the fucking grave. I'm sitting here like, somebody come help him. Okay, where's Yanla? Where's the exorcist? Something is going on. Give him his medicine. And then Jamal comes out, and this how quickly he switched. He was just breaking down. Jamal come out and was like, you okay? He was like, yeah, Andre's okay. I'm okay. I'm cool. I said, no, 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 no. You will not be staying in my house. Not with those flip personalities. Hell to the no. Then we go back to the nursery scene, and we realize that I think it was Tyreek or whoever brought a teddy bear over for the baby. And once he brought the teddy bear over, the teddy bear has a camera. It's like a nanny cam, so he can see everything that Lucius is saying, hear what he's saying, talking about the empire and everything that I did is for the family and legacy and all this shit. You know, that was basically the end of the episode. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. It was cute. It wasn't all that for an opener, but it was okay. It was decent. But, tell me how y'all feel about this season. What y'all think gonna happen. All right. Peace.